So this is Daryl Davis. He is a black man that has befriended numerous members of the Ku Klux Klan over time. Now, how did he do it? Good old-fashioned communication, right? People came to the table, they sit down and talk, and they find out that they had much more in common than they thought. It's an amazing story. Look him up if you don't know who he is. I've enjoyed following his journey over time. Now, why are we bringing this up? What does this have to do with Marvel Strike Force? Well, recently I dropped a video. It was about the state of the game, and the comments there were amazing. There was a lot of good conversation. Perhaps you're one of the individuals that agreed with what we said in the video. Again, there was a lot of stimulating conversation. People gave their reasons why they felt the way they did. Glad to hear it. Perhaps you were one of the individuals who disagreed with the conversation. And that was also fine because there was a lot of individuals that talked about why they felt the way they did. And that's where the communication comes in. That's where we start to learn and understand what each other is thinking. And that promotes good health among people in any and all communities, including Marvel Strike Force. Right? If a person could sit down with who one would consider to be a sworn enemy and walk away with their friendship, surely we can do the same thing on a much lesser degree in the Marvel Strike Force. And that video just really got me thinking. People liked it, so let's see if we can continue down that path. See, so I need your help to do that. In fact, I have 3 ways that perhaps we can assist, maybe you can assist me, and we can really get to know more and more people in the community. The player voice movement right now is having its elections. So get involved in that. Get involved in that. Really, the player voice, I think, is going to be a key to really helping the community come together and stay together. They kind of recognize 5 different styles of play, right? So there's a free to play, and we have guppies, dolphins, whales, krakens. But what does that mean? Right? What are those players? How do they interact with the game? The game's also been out for 6 years. So those 5 different play styles multiplied by 6, that's 30. So are there 30 different microcosms of players in the game? Right? We need to talk and understand what each other is doing. So please take advantage of this opportunity. If you want to be involved in the player voice, great time to do it. Get involved, perhaps sign up, try to, again, or taking elections for the council members. Get involved in that. People want to know, people need to hear your side of the story so that adjustments can be made in the game that are proper for your play style as well as others. Along those lines, we recently had a milestone in the game. It's a spender milestone, and individuals get upset. They get angry. Well, why? We know people have to spend in the game for it to be here. So why are we getting mad at the spenders? Who is that event for? Is it for the whales? Is it for the krakens? Is it designed to help somebody move from one step to another? Individuals who interact with that, I'd like to hear from you. Why do events like this happen? Leaderboard events. How does you and your alliance approach those things? A lot of that stuff is outside of my realm. Like, I don't know. I don't understand why those events are in the game. So instead of getting angry about it, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. And perhaps not just those individuals. Maybe you're not a spender. Maybe you're a free to play player, a light spender. Do you buy those $2 and $3 offers? Do you buy characters? I buy a battle pass once a month. That's what I do. But again, outside of my own experience, I don't know. So I really would like to hear from you. I'd like to hear from people of all those different groups. Let's sit down. Let's talk. Maybe we can get some people on a podcast. Maybe we can just go old-fashioned interview, come out with a report to really just kind of help people understand what the different styles of players are. When something changes in the game, how does that affect you? Positively or negatively? We get a lot of negative backlash, but let's hear about how some of those things actually help people in the game. If so, I'm curious. I like to hear about it. And it doesn't just have to be on an individual basis, right? We've interviewed alliances on the podcast before. So perhaps we could get a few members of your alliance. We could just talk about the war changes, maybe some of the upcoming teams, how you prepare for that as a free-to-play player, as a spender. What does that mean? What goes into that? How are you doing in Crucible, War? The changes that are happening, how does that affect you? We should talk about these things because I think it would help to tamp down some of the animosity and venom that we have in the community from time to time. So hit me up. I'm usually going to be found in the player voice Discord, right? I could make my own Discord, like we have some people do. I could make my own Discord, but I'm electing not to do that. I would really like to draw attention to the player voice. So people, right, hit me up in the lobby, at me there. I just want to talk, right? You might have me ask some questions. You might see me in some of the focus groups asking questions. I just want to talk. I just want to understand how you play the game. And by understanding each other, maybe again, we can tamp down some of the negativity that comes about. But it's obviously not just the player base that I want to talk to. Second point, Scopely, I'd also like to talk to you. And I'd also like to be involved in a conversation with you. Kind of a nebulous entity. And if we could humanize things a little bit, once again, I think we could tamp down some of that negative talk that we have, right? We'll start with the art department, right? The art department, everybody always says they create such wonderful things. So tell me some of the stories, some of the background about the decisions that you made with the characters, right? As any artist, are there some Easter eggs that are kind of sitting here or there? Is there a attention to detail, maybe with a mask, a glove, something of that nature that maybe the majority of the community isn't going to notice, but you noticed it as an artist and you wanted it to be just right? I'd like to hear that story. How do you come up with the move sets for the characters? Do you default to a certain comic book, a movie? Does Marvel have questions about that? Do they intervene or interject in that? Or is it something that comes from your childhood, a childhood memory that you wanted to bring to life? Again, I'd really like to hear about that. And not only that, maybe some of the back end things. See, if we remember, if anybody got a chance to see it, go check it out. I'll see if I can put the link in the description. But on Taco Shooters, it's like his last video or two before he retired from Marvel Strike Force. He sat down and talked with Beta Ray Bill, and they talked about some of the back end things as far as programming stuff goes and some of the limitations of the game. Answered a lot of questions. And see if we could answer some of that stuff a little bit more forthright. I think that would help, right? If people know that the machine is capable of doing A, but not capable of doing B, then people don't have to wonder. They don't have to repeatedly ask for things that can't come true, at least in a manner that they think it can. So I like to hear about that. I'd like to hear about your creative endeavors, right? When you come up with matchups, when you come up with teams, right? We know that it takes months for that. So how does that process go? Do you already have the characters picked? Do you already have the teams picked? Or is there kind of just a pool that's going and some things fit in as they get the opportunity? I'd like to know. What is it like when you have that new update? It's 5 minutes till it's time to go live. They push the button. Everything goes without a hitch, right? Well, what about the other side? There's 5 minutes to go. Things just aren't working as intended. You know it's just not going to make it. What does the team do? How do you handle that? What does the workload look like? I'm very, very curious to know about those things. I do understand, however, that a lot of times, Scopely, you can't be public because of the negativity that has come out of the community has gotten to the point where people have threatened your safety. And individuals disgustingly have shown that they could make good on their promise. And that's horrendous. That's horrible. And maybe some of us as content creators need to think about that before we just spew this venom to this nebulous entity that is made of real people, hardworking blue collar people that are just trying to get it done, right? We're always thinking about the guy walking around with the money bags, but that individual, right? There's one or two of those individuals. The majority of people are just blue collar cats that are trying to get it done like us. And I want to hear from you. And since I know that safety is a concern, obviously we can do everything anonymously. Do everything anonymously. Maybe again, we just do an interview old school on paper. We'll come up with a report. You could show up on the podcast, no camera. Don't have to use your name. Just be Aurora Monroe for all I know. Or the Amazing Spider-Man, whatever works, right? But I really like to hear from you. I think that that would help to give you form and voice, and again, would tamp down on some of that negativity. And you know that when you come here, it's a safe place. It's a safe space, right? We don't talk negatively or Scopely on this channel, right? We can have criticism and we can offer solutions, but we never speak disrespectfully. And it's because we got skin in the game, right? I don't have, I have family and friends that work in the tech industry. They don't work for Scopely, but they work in the tech industry, right? One of my sons, I've seen more than once come over for family dinner, and he has that briefcase with him, right? Like he's a member of the Secret Service or something like that. He has that briefcase, and my wife, she's happy to see him. Son's home, and then he gets that phone call. Gets that phone call, and things change. Maybe now he can't enjoy family dinner because he's got to work on the tech, right? Got to work on the tech. So 10 minutes go by, he's still working. He says, "Hey, can I just go in the spare room for a minute?" And we all know it's not going to be for a minute, right? He's going to come to this room, perhaps right here, maybe be here all night, missing out on family dinner. So that's why I don't make jokes about Scopely employees. I don't say stuff like fix your game. I don't say that you should skip out on your jams. I don't say that they don't work on weekends, because I know, and anybody that knows the industry knows that the blue collar people do. And they miss out on a lot. So we don't take shots here. But let's talk in the future. I'll try to make some type of formal request, but this is a safe space and we want to hear your view of things. Thirdly, we got one more point we really want to discuss. Has to do with a couple things. So my logo, right? So we got my logo. The only reason why I bring it up is Run 7, he's got the tier list. This is not a shot at Run 7, but he's got the tier list. And he was doing logos, and mine ranks pretty low because it doesn't look like a personal brand. It's not a business logo. And it isn't. It isn't. Instead, it is here for my inspiration. Let me show you something. In honor of, well, what month is it? So it's Pride Month, but it's also mental health, right? So also mental health. We want to talk about mental health for a minute. So you see my mask here, right? Because of my occupation, firefighter, EMT. We got this guy in the front here. This makes it so it's difficult for me to breathe intentionally. It's intentionally made to make it hard for me to breathe. I've had panic episodes on my mask. We can't have that. Related to the job, right? I've seen some stuff, right? I've seen the inside of people on the outside. We have some people that I've known for a lot of years. We came up together. We grew up together. They came on the job. They pulled a guy out of a fire. Another dude that we went to school with, deceased. Seen some horrible things, man. I rolled a guy over, shooting victim, and here it is, somebody that I know, a child, not a small child, but a kid, a young man, same age as my kids. I know his folks. The first one to see that he's passed away. Okay. So things like that can affect your mental health. You need to take care of that, right? As a man, as in a profession that has machismo, I resisted it, and now I got to work on it. Okay. If I would have, just like anything in life, I would have took care of it earlier, it wouldn't be as difficult. So go see the people. I went to see the people. The therapy I have is stuff like this. You're going to have to put on your face. It's going to have to suck. You're going to have to feel like you're going to die. That's me, right? That's what I'm dealing with. So for you, go get it done. If you need to go see somebody, make sure you go do that. If they want you to take meds, make sure you do that. Don't feel bad about it, especially as a man. Don't feel bad about it. Because if your arm or your leg was broken, you go to the doc and you do what you needed to do to rehab to get yourself back to 100% so you could get back to life, because you got to provide for your family. So after an especially distressing incident that we had, a buddy of mine, right? We talked, this is one of the things that catalyzed it. Hey, we're gonna have to go get some help for this one. I shared with my buddy some of the stuff I was dealing with. He shared with me. We needed to find a way for me to change change the mind. You get those intrusive thoughts. So I need to be able to change that channel. Marvel Strike Force helps me to do that. And I said, hey, I'm gonna start making content to help give my mind something else to ruminate on. And his daughter made that logo for me. So it's inspirational. So I don't believe that it's going to change on this channel. So she plucked it out of my mind like an artist, man. It's crazy. The talent, the skills that people have. It's like I described in a few sentences what I want, and she just, boom, made it happen. So we just call, I'm calling her Jean Grey. All right. So her link's in the description. Get some art, or you could donate, right? You could donate on the channel. I'm not begging for money. I have a career, right? But if you were to give like a super chat or super thanks or whatever, and you earmarked it, right? Hashtag Jean Grey or something like that, I will make sure that she gets those resources. She did that for me. I'm trying to do something for her. Don't be ashamed. Take care of your mind. So I mean that stuff. When I say take care of yourself and your family, I mean that stuff. All right. But Run did make me think. And so I did make another logo. So if I'm not going to change my logo, why would I do that? Well, I'm pursuing another muse as well. I have another channel. It's GideonXL's AI Playground. And so as I'm getting into this creation, this art flow and things of that nature, I have these little movies in my mind that I want to come to life. Kind of making a little channel about it. So if you want, you can hop over there and subscribe. You don't have to, right? It's only if you're interested in that kind of thing. Otherwise, right? It's just if you do it, you're going to get recommended videos. And if you don't want to see that type of stuff, it's not good. So only if you're interested, feel free to check it out. But hey, we did something really good together on this channel. We want to keep it going. I really want to get involved more in the conversation. I'm going to try to be in the Voice Discord more. I'm trying to be in maybe the main Marvel Strike Force Discord more. I'll just be trying to ask questions. I'm just digging in, trying to understand the game from various people's perspective. Let's all work together. Can you help me out with that? I need your help.